Alrighty, well let's get started with this. It's awfully windy outside, so I'm going to bring you inside here and we'll get started. Like I said, it's a 1996. It's actually a tracker made by Mercury, 90 horse, 2-stroke outboard motor. It goes on my pontoon boat that we're going to be rebuilding, refurbishing, turning into a big old mean catfish hunting machine. And well, here we go. Basically, when you take these off of the outboard, they're all three tied in together, and you'll see what that looks like here when we get them all put back together in a little bit. But basically, they'll be going down like this, bowls on the bottom. The problem I was having with this motor last time I used it was I took it out on the lake, started it, cranked up the radio, and the radio worked awesome. It was loud. It filled in the whole marina area. Obviously, I was one of the only ones there, so I could make all the noise I wanted to on the ramp. And it started. It idled. It ramped up real nice. But as soon as I took it off the trailer and started heading towards the dock, it died on me. It'd start back up real easy. Get it in gear, just barely start going, and it died. So, needless to say, that ruined our outing, and I never used it since. It's been sitting actually for years now, and it's time to get down on my bad self and get this bad boy going again. And believe me, when it comes to fixing things, I can fix anything, so this is a piece of cake. And when it comes to rebuilding carburetors, this is probably one of the easiest carburetors that you will ever get your hands on. Absolutely. So, the biggest problem I found with it was, and I'll show you some pictures here in a little bit, was the bowls were just full of crap. Basically dried up oil, I believe black residue that may have come from the hoses themselves, maybe the tank. Again, I've been real good over the years. Every time I turned it off and I knew I wasn't going to use it for a weekend or whatever, I would unplug it, run the gas out, and let it go. This last time it did that to me. I didn't do that. So, you know, the gas was still in there. All this cheap ethanol gas that we have anymore that within a week or two disappears and turns sour, and well, you know what it does to carburetors. Anyway, I'm going to break one of these down real quick so you can see what there is to it, and there really isn't much. I take the bowl off, I pop the little pin off of here on the float, pull the float off. There's a little jet pin right here. And that's one of the problems that I noticed when I cleaned it out, was that it was stuck. Pull that out. There's one jet up in here. Pull it out. You unscrew it. Comes out real easy. And then there's another one in here. First one was right there. This is what everything else looked like. Pull the pin out. Pull the float out. Pull the seat out. I'll pull this last jet out of here. One thing I'll say real quick as you pull these out is make sure that you mark them as to what's on the top, what's in the middle, what's in the bottom. I usually make a little scribe mark on them because a marker, which is what I usually use on everything else, you know, when you hit it with some of this good old carburetor cleaner, it will disappear. So there you see M for middle. One of these others, T for top, and take a guess what this one's going to say. Right on. B for bottom. Alright, let's keep going. Almost done here. We have your idle mix screw. Whenever you go to pull one of these out, make sure that you screw it all the way in and count. So, in counting halves, as a half, that's one, and that's a quarter. So that's telling us that you pull it out, you clean it, you put it back in, you put it in at the same, you bottom it out, and you unscrew it the same amount that you just screwed it in. So we're going to take it out. All the way. Pull it out. And that's it. That's all the parts to this carburetor. One of the simplest carburetors that you'll ever rebuild in your life. Of course, there's springs on the butterfly, the choke, the throttle assembly, the linkage. You know, all that can be replaced. It all comes in the kit. All that's good. So if it's not broke, don't fix it, folks. Especially if you don't know what you're doing or it's your first time around. Look around, see what's bad, fix what's bad, leave the rest good. It's good, trust me. So, like I said, I've already cleaned this. I use carburetor cleaner. This is the cheapest stuff I can find out of Walmart. $1 or $2 a can. You know, buy 5 or 6 cans since you got 3 of these. And, you know, my other boat has 3 carburetors. 4-wheeler has a carburetor. Washer has a carburetor. My small boat has 1 carburetor. You know, I'm on a farm. You need this stuff. You're going to use it all the time. So what I would do is definitely get some safety glasses on and hit every crevice, every opening that you can with this stuff. Get it real good. I'm sure you've built carburetors before and you know what I'm talking about. And every hole. And then once you're done, wipe it all down real good with the paper towel. And take your air gun, blow it out real good, and then, you know, you'll end up with this. And you'll see what these look like. I'll link some pictures in this video of what they actually look like and what all the gunk looked like when I pulled them out. Okay, so now let's put it back together. Our air mix screw, it goes right in here where we pulled it out of. And you're going to screw it in the same amount. You're going to start with bottoming it out. And when I say bottoming it out, you screw it all the way in, not tight, just till it bottoms out. So you go nice and soft. There's no gorilla screw in here. Alright, you tighten it down to the seats. It just seated there. Now we're going to come out half, come out 1, come out quarter. 1 1/4 is what we originally had. 1 1/4 is what we gave it back to. Okay. Your jets, you're gonna blow them out real good, and then get an air gun, blow them out. You want to make sure you see through them. Bet you can see a little daylight through that. Yeah. Other one looks just as good. Put the top one back in the top position. Screw it in. Again, when you tighten these things up, just a little bit, right? This is cheap manufactured parts. Actually, I say cheap manufactured parts. This thing is going to last a lifetime if you take care of it. So tighten it. That's it. That's good enough. Inch pounds, not foot pounds. All right, getting the other main jet in there. I like to start it off on the screwdriver, face it in, drop it down, screw it in. Okay, there you go. It's in. Barely torque it. There you go. Okay, next thing is we're going to get our float in. First we're going to put our float pin in first. And there's one way that this goes in. Plastic piece to the top. And if you look on here, there's no marks there. If you look on there, there's a mark. And that mark is from where it was hitting this little float pin. So put it in place. These pins are knurled. The knurled part is what keeps it in there. Start it off. Get it through the hole in the float. all the way through. Once it's through, see the little piece there? I like to take my pair of pliers and just barely finish it off. Finish it off. Just like that. Okay? Now, here's where I left off. So the drain plug comes out. And the drain plug has two gaskets. One on the inside and one on the outside. Right now I'm trying to get the inside one out. Thing's holding on pretty good for a bad gasket. So this kit that I bought is basically just the gasket kit. And that's what it brings. The drain gaskets. That's what I just took off right there. Your drain plug, inside and outside gaskets. Put them off to the side. Here's the kit. Here's the number off the kit. Now you see what's in the kit. Just a second. Open it up. Here's what's in the kit. And the kit comes with the gasket for the carburetor to the intake manifold, your bowl seal, and two new drain seals. Basically it. And when it came down to it, this was the whole rebuild. The rebuild was pull everything out, clean it, blow it out real good, and unfortunately when I went to put it back together, this gasket was just falling apart. So put that gasket on, in place, get your drain plug, put a new gasket on it. Gotta kind of screw that on there. Take it, put it through the bottom. Take your inside one, screw it on. Get it all the way down onto that bolt. Just like if it was a nut. Inside, outside, and then put it on. Put it on. And snug it down. Again, don't have to get gorilla tight on it. I like to make sure that my seat is centered on there. Seat being the gasket. Kind of tight. Get it into place real good. Seat it down in there. You know, when it comes to these bowl gaskets, I prefer O-ring in there than this cork stuff. Over time, this cork stuff just starts falling apart, and that is what I think, you know, was part of the problem with it. So now you can see I've got it in there real good and it's seated in the groove. Gasket, float. Okay. You can see all the way around. The gasket looks good on there. And we're going to crank down on this. When I say crank down, gently. That's it. Okay, so that's what we did. I need to do this 2 more times. Obviously, I'll need to take you through that. As soon as I get done, I'll come back. Show you how to put these together with the hoses and get them into one cohesive unit, ready to go back into the motor that will soon go broom broom. Okay, thank you. Dig it.